Evade is one of the most popular games on Roblox right now. Since its launch in June 2022, it has consistently maintained a player average of over 50,000 players, surpassing other immensely popular games like Doors, Bed Wars, and Royale High. On the surface, Evade appears to be a really straightforward game. All you have to do is flee from the nextbots, right? The game Evade has grown significantly since I published my first comprehensive guide to it all those months ago, and the length of this video is a testament to that. So yeah, let's get started. The game is very basic at its core. You start out on a map and have 3 minutes to stay clear of the nextbots until the round is over. Just avoid getting hit by the nextbots in any way you can, whether you run, hide, juke, or do anything else. However, when the nextbots do hit you, you're taken down. You can only crawl when you're down, which significantly slows you down. Fortunately, you can be revived by other players who are still alive, which takes 3 seconds. However, if you're not revived within 50 seconds, you will die. Players have the ability to carry down players with them. You can also access a variety of items that will improve your chance of survival in the menu's equipment section. These products include everything from skins, slides, consumables, cosmetics, and many others. Later on in the video, each of these will be discussed in greater detail. Evade is a simple game in terms of controls, but you have to keep a few things in mind if you want to do well. One of the most important controls is 1 and 2. 1 allows you to use the utility that you equipped in the round, and 2 allows you to access a wheel usables that you have purchased. Both of these will be discussed in more detail in the respective sections of the video. F is used to equip the light item you have, which is useful in darker maps like Complex, and R allows you to turn back to look at what's behind you. This is great as it shows how much distance you have with the nextbots accurately, but the downside is that you can't jump or equip any items while doing so. O allows you to flip the camera from first to third person, and lastly W, which is whistling. Whistling is great as it notifies other players of a general location, which is crucial in moments where you're down and need help. However, there is a range to it, so people who are far away can't hear the whistle. The control C allows you to slide or crouch. This control is essentially useless but with one exception: breaking down doors. Several of the game's maps have doors that you must open and close. Typically, you would do that because doors temporarily slow down nextbots. But if you don't have the time to wait for the door to open, you can simply press C to kick down the door while still running. In Evade, there are more than 25 maps, each with a distinctive theme. All of them fall into one of 4 categories: easy, normal, hard, and expert. You typically receive rewards in the form of money and experience when you win a map. However, harder maps will pay off more handsomely. For instance, if you win a map on easy, you'll receive $200 and 36 experience points. However, if you win a map on expert, you'll receive $350 and 62 experience points, which is a noticeable increase. Certain special rounds like Quadruple Trouble and Double Trouble are able to multiply your winnings heavily, but I'll go more in depth into this in the special round section of the video. You get to choose 4 maps from the map pool to become the following map after 2 regular rounds and 1 special round on the same map. I will now go through each of the game's maps. Construct is the only easy map in the game, possibly the easiest actually. It is situated in a gloomy area with lots of glass and other things like a frozen lake. There is a lot of ground to cover on Construct's large map with a lot of grasslands, a lot of hallways, and even an underground section. Because there is so little room for nextbots to hide and sneak up on you in this map, it's very easy to spot them. Construct is a very easy map to beat, and I believe that losing the nextbots is just a matter of some running. TRIMP is an easy map, but it isn't really a map at all. With the nextbots pursuing you, it functions more of like a parkour map rather than a conventional map. The majority of the map is empty with a few platforms here and there, and you must use a movement method known as trimping to move from one platform to another. In my advanced movement guide video, which you can view in the top right, I go more into detail about trimping there. SERAPH Research is a normal map. It is a sizable research facility with many rooms, a reception area, and even an underground garage. Doors are frequently used in SERAPH Research, which is very helpful because it can be used to slow down the nextbots. Also, keep in mind that if you don't have enough time to open the door, you can press C to slide and kick it down. SERAPH Research is a bigger and easier normal map than most people realize. Staying in the corners of the map during the early game is typically a wise decision because the parameter of SERAPH Research is quite large. A normal map, Complex is likely the biggest map in Evade. This map is just enormous, to be honest. It takes place in a humongous parking lot with a variety of different hallways, walkways, and corridors. Additionally, compared to other maps, this one is darker, which makes it more challenging to see nextbots in the dark. Complex is a map that is so complicated that even seasoned players struggle to understand it. Even the developers have commented on the size of this map. Overall though, this map is great and keeps its difficulty at normal because there is a lot of room to hide from the nextbots and move around. Silver Mall is a normal map that is located inside a posh mall in Beverly Hills. There are many interesting places to discover here, including the movie theater, the parking lot, the cafe, Best Buy. Silver Mall, all things considered, is a very sizable map. Since the map's release, many changes have been made, including the addition of numerous new walkways, the widening of numerous existing locations, and a general decrease in the number of dead ends, which has returned the map to normal difficulty. The best strategy for avoiding the nextbots in this map, in my opinion, is to just stay mobile, because of how many escape routes you can take in this map now. ARID Ruins is a normal map with a desert theme, featuring lion sculptures, sandy plains, and a lot of pyramids. With all the walkways, buildings, and underpaths that this map has, is without a doubt one of the largest maps in the Evade. Additionally, the badges section of this video will go into more detail about the procedure badge, which is only accessible through this map. My tip for ARID Ruins is to take advantage of the extra space that is given to you in this map. There's a lot of places to run around here, and the tight corners will help you get rid of the nextbots easily. A normal map called the Underground Facility has 2 floors and a connecting area inside. The way that you get up and below from 2 floors is through the ramp in the connecting section inside. The 2-floor layout of this map makes it interesting because it allows you to see the floor above or below you, and since the floor is transparent, it allows you to check out the conditions of other players and the nextbots. Given that this is a normal map, there aren't really many dead ends to be found. This is a normal harder map when you're just getting started because it can be quite intimidating at times due to the convincing layout. But don't be alarmed, this is just a normal map, and after a few tries you will be just fine. Everyone is familiar with the renowned and classic Roblox map CROSSROADS. It has been used in other well-known Roblox games like Combat Warriors and Untitled Tag Game, and it's finally a map in Evade. It differs from the original though, in that most of the locations have been redesigned to better fit the Evade formula. The layout however is essentially the same. CROSSROADS is definitely an easier normal map, even by normal standards. This is due to the wide and open nature of CROSSROADS, the map itself, and I recommend camping at the heights at the first start of the game to gain an early advantage. BACKROOMS is a normal map that has been ripped out from the creepypasta community known as the BACKROOMS. Every room has the same superficial characteristics, such as worn mono yellow wallpaper or moist carpet and randomly placed fluorescent lighting, making some odd areas of the map much more difficult to see. BACKROOMS is unquestionably one of the most popular Evade maps. In my experience, it is almost always chosen. The BACKROOMS is a fairly simple map with plenty of escape routes and a few dead ends. The main challenge in my opinion is the threat of approaching nextbots from corners, as this is quite a tight map, especially for a normal one. A normal map called Neighborhood is set inside an affluent neighborhood with numerous cul-de-sacs to go along with it. The map is littered with filth like cars, trucks, and other vehicles, as well as a sizable area of underground sewage. All things considered, the neighborhood map, which includes both the surface and the underground area, is actually quite large. Like any normal map, the neighborhood has a lot of open areas that let you move around. One of the best spots to hide is usually behind the houses. And as well, use the filth and clutter around this map to your advantage in slowing down the nextbots by running around them. Hiding in the underground section of the map is also a good way to start off your game. IKEA is a normal map that essentially recreates the real-life store in Roblox. I don't think IKEA's iconic design requires much of an introduction. After all, we have all seen its blue-yellow walls, furniture, among many other items. Since the beginning of the game, IKEA has been a fan favorite map for obvious reasons. The map is 2 floors and the main part of the map is just covered with furniture. The left side of the map is a docking station for all the storage, and the back end is a cashing out section. The only issue is that the map is quite congested in some places, especially upstairs, which could lead to nextbots jumping you. 4 Corners is a normal map with a very simple layout. It's basically a square with a strangely long corridor leading to this guy just dancing on me. Due to how boring it is and how overly simplistic it is, this map has earned a reputation for being one of the most overrated maps of all time. The map is essentially just a square, so all you have to do to avoid the nextbots is when the approach is run into in the opposite direction. Due to its small size, I recommend testing out new usables and utilities in this map. I'm not sure if ICEBREAKER is a normal map set in Antarctica, but I do know that touching water in this map will cause you to lose your health, so jump on an ice to avoid it. This map is quite open, along with a chopper and a few trucks. There is a shipwreck on one side and a group of buildings with boxes and other equipment on the other. It is a very simple map because ICEBREAKER is a very open map with few places that nextbots can hide. One of the best spots in this game is usually above the shipwrecks or above the tall buildings. These places usually provide the most cover and give very good vision over the map, so you're able to track the nextbots down very easily. A normal map with a lot of bizarre features is called Laboratory. For instance, a nuke that is unoccupied and sitting on a table for no apparent reason at all. Jokes aside, the laboratory is quite big, especially in the outside areas of the map. The only problems that I can see from this map are the lab's confined spaces, so staying outside will increase your chances of survival. And as well, utilize the parking area. It is a viable alternative to traveling from outside to inside and vice versa. Jungle is a hard map. With the pyramids and other structures in the area, this map takes a page out from Aztec architecture. There are numerous trees around the map, which is shrouded in a dense layer of green fog. These huts and the global plush tree that is in the building for no apparent reason are two additional noteworthy features around the map. Overall, Jungle is a map that functions like a circle, and because of the room that this map gives you, I think it's an easier hard map overall. The fog of this map is really the only potential issue because it is so dense, which may cloud your vision. Desert Bus is a hard map and is located in the desert with a phone booth that calls a bus. Taking the title of the map very literally, there are very few, if any, obstacles on this map, which is very desolate. Nextbots are very obvious in this environment, but the Desert Bus map is quite small, making it challenging for you to outrun them if you don't know how to use movement strategies like bee-hopping. A very effective hiding place is the edges of the Desert Bus map. This is due to the fact that most players cluster around in the middle, where they attract the Nextbots' attention and cause them to ignore you for the majority of the round. A hard map called the POOLROOMS was taken from the Backrooms, specifically level 37 Sublimity. The majority of the floor in the POOLROOMS is submerged in water, and there are grey walkways and arches to match. The tightness of this map and its unusual layout make it challenging for less experienced players to maneuver. In order to track the Nextbots, I would advise anyone playing this map to complete the objective that involves turning on the generators. This will be explained more in depth in the objectives section of this video. In the hard map Maze, glasses are used in place of the usual walls. One trick about this map is that you can see other players through the glass, which is helpful because it makes it simple for you to find other players on the map and access their conditions. The Nextbots are hidden by the glass on this map though, which is unfortunate because Maze is a very condensed map with very limited room for escape. In this map, audio plays a crucial role in locating the Nextbots before they approach too closely. Be careful if there are numerous downed players in one area because Nextbots are almost certainly present in those areas. DRAB is a normal map distinguished by its untextured, grimy coloring. Given its intricate layout, this is one of the most difficult maps to navigate without help. My recommendation is to stay at the heights at the start of the game. This will allow you to spot the Nextbots easily and make a quick getaway if you have to. Due to the numerous sharp corners in this area and the size of the underground area that connects various parts of the map, I advise going into these underground areas to get rid of the Nextbots. DRAB is a darker map overall, but I believe that with a few replays, it is simple to get the hang of it. The hard map Facade employs a more unconventional style of map design. The majority of the walls are painted with a single color, and the map is devoid of any textures. The map itself is actually quite congested, and it is challenging to navigate due to the abundance of structures around this map. The saving grace though is that the map is actually quite small, smaller than most people realize, and its tight corners are perfect candidates for the usage of long-lasting usables like beacons and barriers, which will be covered more in the usable section of this video. Bad Yam, who also submitted Warped Estate for the Halloween 2022 event, created Library, a hard map. It's a map that was influenced by the Backrooms called The End, and also resembles a library. Even though it's referred to as a library, there are only a lot of shelves and computers there with no books in sight. The map is an easier hard map because it is so open and makes it more difficult for Nextbots to sneak up on you. In addition, I believe that the library's rounded shape makes it easier to see the Nextbots and avoid them. The clutter on this map is the only thing that might go wrong. Some shelves might stand in your way of getting where you want to go, which may make a movement more difficult. The normal map Elysium employs a more minimalistic aesthetic to its design. This map is divided into various sectors, each of which is represented by a different color, such as red, green, or yellow. I believe that Elysium is an easier normal map. The map has doors, is fairly open, and Nextbots can be seen from a distance thanks to its vivid coloring. So overall, I don't think you should have much problem with this hard map, even for beginners. But honestly, I consider this map to be among the best in the game in terms of design and aesthetic appeal. A hard map called Art Exhibit takes place inside of an art gallery. This map contains numerous references to other video games, such as the TF2 Demoman, the Diamond Sword for Minecraft, and the Dust 2 poster for CSGO. There are numerous doors in Art Exhibit, which you could use to your advantage to slow down the nextbots. In contrast to other hard maps, our exhibit is quite wide and doesn't feature a lot of dead ends, which in my opinion makes it an easier hard map. It's one of my favorite maps in Evade because I adore the decoration, the numerous references, and overall the cheerful atmosphere that art exhibit creates. Mansion is a hard map that was included in the 1.0.8 update to Evade, which also included the inclusion of other things like Angry Monkey, which will be covered in a later section. Anyhow, the mansion is a map that is illuminated by pricey chandeliers, opulent furnishings, and general red decor. Mansion has an excessive number of doors, contrary to popular belief, makes the game harder for you to play. This is because the mansion's tight corners prevent you from using the doors effectively. An absurdly high number of them may also make it difficult for you to make your decisions. Mansion also offers a helping of a lot of dead ends, which will quickly land you in a sticky situation. Once you choose a path, you must stick to that path. Station is a hard map and depicts a typical train station with its surroundings. Surprisingly, the outside area of the map is actually quite big, with this actual station being really small. There's also abundance of buildings that surround the train station, which is a great place for hiding. And honestly, they are the most underappreciated aspects of this map. And as well, be sure to take advantage of the numerous doors that surround the structures. They might be very helpful. I recommend staying most of your time at the surface, because there are more escape routes there. The most recent map in Evade is Work Facility, a hard map. This map borrows design elements from Complex, giving off an extremely industrial vibe with its grey walls, boxes, among many other things. Undoubtedly, one of the game's most confining maps is Work Facility. There just isn't much room for movement because the corners of the map are just so tiny. But due to the lack of dead ends in the Work Facility and the tight corners, B-hopping is probably one of the most effective strategies that you can use on this map. The best and most challenging maps in Evade are called expert maps. They come up much less frequently compared to the other maps in the game and feature some sort of twist that puts the Evade formula under a completely different set of rules. Due to how difficult some of these maps are, very few players are able to consistently beat them, and on most servers, the entire team might be eliminated. Here are the current 3 expert maps in the game, and are without a doubt the hardest maps in Evade. The most terrifying map in Evade is without a doubt Death Maze. In terms of design, Death Maze is bare bones minimalism. Despite the Death Maze's brick covered walls, it is naturally dark. If you want to see anything in here, you need to use your flashlight or something similar. In this map, adding a special round for darkness has zero effect because the darkness is already so prevalent. You're only equipped with audio in the Death Maze because you have clouded vision, and without it, it's very simple to be killed by nextbots as they can just swing you from a corner. Players in the Death Maze are advised to stick together as much as possible and use floodlights to combat the darkness. By the way, Death Maze has many dead ends, and it is very simple to encounter one, so I advise extreme caution when choosing your paths around the map. Without a doubt, a map deserving of expert difficulty. TRAPROOMS is an expert map and was the first expert map in Evade. It's the same game but with a twist. The map is separated into blocks and certain walkways could be closed off and reopened again by barriers. This gives an element of luck to the game, where it's possible for barriers to work in your favor by delaying nextbots or working against you by closing off escape points where you're running away. If all sides in the block are covered up, that block is filled with lava, killing anybody that was trapped in there. It's quite rare to die like this, but the possibility is still there regardless. Even if you make all the right decisions, you can still die due to the random nature of this map. But hey, it's expert mode. An expert map that is relatively uncommon is Train Terminal. It's a small map with a unique presentation that was made by Beef Chocolates, one of the co-founders of Evade. The twist about this map is that there will be fast moving trains that can kill you as they pass by. The fact that you're much more likely to die in this map from trains than from nextbots makes it one of the most hardest maps in the game. Staying in the safe zones as long as you can while keeping an eye out for the side of the train's origin is what I advise. This will give you enough time to respawn when the trains are headed your way. Train Terminal appears less often compared to other maps, and in my opinion, it is the hardest map in Evade. Well, you have reached the end of this video. With this video under your belt, you have gained a good grasp of the fundamentals of Evade and can survive in most maps with ease. But this is not the end of this series. I will be making a part 2 to this guide which will cover the more obscure topics of Evade which you need to know to go from being decent to becoming an expert at the game. If you want to be one of the first people in the world to watch it, why not subscribe to the channel to stay notified? It's free and it's easy to do. Anyways, thank you for watching and I'll see you soon. if you have 20,000 survivors, you have issues.